How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, how you?
I am wonderful. I was just talking about, I remember years ago, you were here in Chicago. I want to say the Aragon Ballroom, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And we had a really nice interview then.
Okay.
So I'm excited to, catch up with you and see how you've been doing. How you holding up during quarantine?
Sounds good. Is that the first question?
No, well, I'm just getting you warmed up, but kind of, yeah.
I'm going out of my complete freaking mind. I'm cool.
You've
But
been working, been recording.
yeah, been working, just working through it. Work is pretty much my therapy. A lot of times, but I'm learning how to take time for myself and meditate and do other things that are great to vibrate higher.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love that about you. That you're always like doing self-love, and improving yourself so that you can
As a,
always project love
as
out
a,
there.
I'm not always project love, but yeah, self love was very important for me. Like,
And
yeah,
and I'm not talking about the self-love you think. No. Put Mr. Midnight away. Save him for later.
I,
So let's talk about kind of your music journey. You started in 2000. Well, I don't want to say you started in 2005, but in 2005, that's when we got the Love Experience from you. And then from there in 2008, you followed up with a really heavy hitter sophomore album, which won you two BET Awards, some Grammy nominations. And so what I love is you've been consistent, right? You haven't decided I'm gonna start, rapping and my alter ego. Like you've kept it consistent and strong with R&B, despite like people saying the genre's dead and all this like crazy stuff. So how do you keep the momentum and just keep love alive, you know, in the waves, the peaks and valleys?
mean, it's in me. I feel like it's in me. Um, and all I have to do is just let the light shine at this point and just, let it come out. You know what I mean? Like the music tells me the story.
Mm-hmm.
The song is what I realized. Um, I had a conversation with Carl Thomas recently in the last 24 hours. I like impromptu like interviewed him briefly for a minute. He said some things that was like very profound that I never approached it like that before. I saw it in that manner, like of how I write songs and why it's so effortless, in the manner that I do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really staying true and authentic to to um to the craft. That's what people hear. Like
Mm-hmm.
like if we talking R&B and soul music, like I know what that's supposed to sound like. I was raised on it. You know what I mean? I think it's safe to say I'm pretty good at making it at this point. You know what I mean? All I have to do is really just maintain it, stay focused, and stay creative. Constantly challenge myself.
What do you do to stay creative, especially times like this? I would say, you know, negativity and a lot of people just a lot more embracing hate than love. And what we're seeing in the world visually is hard for you to kind of like bring it back creatively.
I mean, I make
Um,
music about it. Like all of that's what I do. Like the record, Lord Help Me. I don't know if you heard the album yet, but Lord Help Me. Marvin used to say those two records in particular speak to everything we're talking about. You know,
mhm.
I use weapon as an art. I use music as an art form, but in therapy and a sense of escapism, just like everybody else. And I create it for that reason, but I also use it as a weapon of love.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
it was a vibration of love. So I think that's what people connect with. You know what I mean? We're just energy. We're all energy. So it's a transference of energy for me. So it's easy. That's
Right.
whether
It's what you do, like you said
whether it's
earlier.
the heart, whether it's a matter of the heart or a matter of consciousness or you know the climate of where we are, as a race of people, the social climate, like it's always something to talk about. You know what I mean? So like if you creatively, people that draw their inspiration from all different areas. You know what I mean? But I'm an antenna for that. I think.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. So the new album, let's talk about that. It's titled "What a Time to Be in Love." One of the things that I absolutely love that you do, absolutely love, is you in your music pay tribute to the Marvin Gayes, to the Isley Brothers, whether it's you taking a sample, you know, of a melody of their song and incorporating it in what you do. You're always paying, you know, some type of homage. And I love that, you know, the first single, that's what you did off of the album, is pay homage. Why is that so important to you? I know a lot of artists that do not do that. Why is that so important to you?
I mean, we all inspired from somewhere. You know what I mean? So whether you choose to acknowledge it or not, that's on you. You know what I mean? Like I'd be, you know, I, I as much of an influence as Marvin Gaye has been, you know, on my career and the comparisons, you know, as well as Prince and different artists. Like those are the inspirations. You know what I mean? So you're gonna hear certain things and nuances that remind you, I think, of that. You know what I mean? Those are the influences of some of my peers as well. But you know, I'm about giving the artists their roses. You know what I mean? I always wanted to do a record that paid homage to Marvin like this. There's a few others I've done like independently, what have you, where I mention his name, you know, the type of thing. But to name an actual song, to, you know, after him, you know, Marvin used to say, is you know, I'm proud of that. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of the music that he made. I'm proud of what he did for our culture, and it had such an impact on me and it resonated with me so heavily. You know, the child that, yeah, I made it my business to pay homage to him. You know, also speaking on what's going on right now, not to be cliche, you know, and the fact that the 50-year anniversary of what's going on is coming up.
Right.
That body of work and the album, yeah. So you know, he's deserving of that, and there's a lot of artists that are deserving of that, and so much more. You know, we see that not only in our community, but and more so in the hip hop community, like where, you know, the new millennials or whatever, like they disrespect for artists like Tupac, or I remember it was kind of like a fad that was the thing, you know, Tupac or Biggie or whoever, and you know, if you don't know your history, then you can't make history. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
here to make history.
Yes, absolutely. So, one thing that is a parallel from you being so inspired by Marvin Gaye that I noticed is like you're into, you know, philanthropy work and activism. So, and you move through it silently. You're not all like, "Hey, guy," you know, look at what I'm doing. You do it, and it is done. One of the things that I read is that you had participation in the Biden Harris shop talks. So can you tell me a little bit more about that?
It was a talk that was orchestrated by a few good men, that, you know, from all different walks of life, and we talked community, we talked politics, we talked you know, the presidential election, and I feel like, you know, that was a pivot for us. You know what I mean? Like, and we got some great. We evidently, you know, we did our part. Like you know what I mean? It was encouraging, in hopes that we encourage people to get out and vote so that we could change the climate of the country and get some results. You know, and now we got to hold our new president-elect, vice president-elect, you know, accountable. Um, you know, he's not in there fully yet. They're not there yet, but yeah, it's about accountability. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we can't hold our city officials accountable for things that we're not, one, holding ourselves accountable for voting
Mm-hmm.
and involved in the laws and the policies, not just on that level, but more importantly on a local level as well. We discussed that really heavy too.
Absolutely, absolutely. With this new project, What a Time to Be in Love, of course, the main juice, I should say, is, you know, evoking love or feeling the feels of love and making love songs. But
Yeah,
from a from a fan that's listening and they're thinking, what's he gonna bring? What is he gonna evoke in me in this album? Can you give some insight on what you were trying to kind of give to your fans this time around?
Come to the conclusion that I make euphoric soul and R&B.
Okay.
So if there was a category for me, that's what it would be.
Okay.
I make euphoric soul and R&B. You know what I mean? And of course, it's
I'm sorry, but this woman, Lady Luck, said orgasms.
at the highest wave of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? It's like euphoric euphoric soul and R&B. That's the category.
Yeah, but orgasms too, I think. She ain't lying.
I call them orgasms.
Eargasms, yes, that too. So before you go, I have a little game, if you don't mind playing. It's a Black-owned business. It's called Like You Cards. I don't know if you can see it.
Okay.
But I do a little segment that they sponsor for me. And it's a card game that just kind of creates a fun space to participate in, like, vulnerability. And you know all about vulnerability being in love.
It's
so
kind of like foreplay, that's what you're saying.
If you feel that way. So my first question from Like You Cards is, do you have a celebrity crush? And if you did, who would it be?
Do I have a celebrity crush? Yeah. I did. I used to have like the hugest crush on Erykah Badu.
For real?
Yeah, for a long
Did you
time.
ever shoot your shot?
Yeah, she told me I was corny in a cute way.
Now that's like a backhanded compliment. Do I say thank you or
what that means, but yeah.
So it was a no-go with EB, Miss Badu.
Shout her out in my new song though, Special Occasion.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's what I say. The Badu plays, like the Badu's playing in the back to set the mood, you know.
Right. For sure. Wow, she got them all the R&B guys like Miss Badu. All right.
I mean, I don't know. Oh, I just, you know, it wasn't a relationship or anything. She ain't had me, so she, you know what I mean. But it was.
But I mean, like, she has that that aura, that energy, I feel.
Get it though, because that's what we are. We're energy. So I realized what it was. You know,
for sure. And that's probably maybe what you were drawn to, that energy.
Yeah. It's like being attracted to light. You know what I'm saying? So
right. You know? Have you ever seen the movie The Lighthouse? It kind of reminds me of that. Oh my God, you got to see that. That is a crazy movie.
I feel like I have seen that movie. I don't know.
It was with William Dafoe and
remember the story, but I feel like I have. I'm not sure.
It's crazy. It's on Amazon Prime for those who want to binge watch something. It's crazy. All right, here's another question. What is the longest relationship you've been in?
The longest relationship I've been in? I mean, probably like a few years. You know, 3 on the average, like 3 years, 3 to 5 years, maybe.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's probably like the longest.
The longest.
They say it happens in 3. Like usually it's 3. It lasts for 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years. And if you don't get past the 3-year mark, then eventually
it's not meant to be.
You're gonna then it was, you know, it was a lesson for you,
right,
to prepare you for something.
I like that.
Someone else.
Would you rather talk or text?
I'd rather talk. Yeah.
Connect more. All right. Last question, and I know the answer to this. I don't even know why I'm asking. Who
Okay.
is the greatest singer of all time?
Who's the greatest singer of all time?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't want that pressure. The greatest singer of all time?
I know, right?
There's
That's kind of hard.
there's many styles and different things. On her A game,
I thought you were gonna say Marvin Gaye with Norm.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that.
Oh, you wouldn't?
I mean, and I'm not, there's nothing to take away from Marvin Gaye, but like the greatest singer of all time, we just talking like vocals. I would have to put it up there with, because we're talking live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me personally, I would kind of be like, for me, like growing up,
Yeah.
and as far as like control, and like control meaning like vocal control and performing and that, like having that effect over the crowd like
I
that.
didn't know this question was gonna be so hard.
It is, because you got to think about, when you think about singing best singer of all time, you got to think about like the live performance aspect of it, not just
Okay.
make how the crowd responds. Did they even have to take a piece of garment off? Like they might have stood, like Luther stood in one spot the whole night, pretty much. Like
Right.
he didn't have to do anything. Like they were passing out, throwing. He wasn't taking off any clothes. He didn't have to have a 6-pack. All he had to do was part his lips to sing, and and it's a rap. You know what I mean?
Right. And then other women were taking off their panties.
Yeah,
That's how he got them.
you know what I mean? So I'd say like at the A game,
Mm-hmm.
live and studio recordings, and just where it just feels like a moment that they created whenever they were in the studio. Um, I'd go with a two-way tie. Um, I'd go with a two-way tie. Singers, I'm gonna go with two-way tie of. I'm gonna go with, man. I'm gonna go with Luther.
Okay.
Put him in there, and I'm gonna go with Whitney Houston.
There you go.
And that, I'm gonna go like those two in particular. If you're talking about like, so now I'm not talking about the singing, and you know what I mean. Like now, if you're talking entertainment, and which means singing, dancing,
All of that.
the full package of producing and all of that. For me, I would probably have to go with Prince.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And Mike coming in on a strong number 2.
Right.
Prince did everything. For people that don't know, like he did everything. Like he did from when he like a teenager. He was, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, played all these different instruments, wrote the songs, produced the songs, did like the whole nine, danced. You know what I'm saying? Like,
He was a
yeah,
bad.
he didn't need somebody to come in and, you know, if somebody came in and played this because he liked the way they played, or he didn't want to, you know, he would go from the play this instrument and then boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, a lot of people played a hand in his greatness. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take away from it, but a lot of people played a hand in the greatness. Like he wasn't sitting there physically playing the instruments and stuff. That gave him time to kind of just, you know, practice his moonwalk while Quincy was at the
Not the moonwalk. I love Mike though. I
Prince.
love him.
No, I love Mike too. I'm just
Yeah.
breaking it down, you know, as to why I'm saying what I'm saying. I mean,
No, for sure.
dope as Marvin Gaye was, like, you know, the I Want You album wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for Leon Ware. Leon Ware wrote and produced that entire album.
Mm-hmm.
And
No,
the
I feel you.
demos exist to prove it. So again, I'm kind of basing it on, you know, like I said, you know, and me growing up and what I saw, and I just think that you know, in spite of like all the challenges like Whitney had, like her on her A game, like when nobody seeing her, you know what I'm saying? Luther, skinny Luther, big Luther, you ain't saying that. Like, I just remember that being, I remember working with somebody when I was young. It's kind of like a vocal trainer. And he had, like, one of the things he had me on that day was like, I was literally in the studio all day in the mirror, just like singing or whatever. It was like a previous manager or whatever. And um, he just used Luther as that example. And then I started studying him and I'm like, okay, wow, that's crazy. Like, he never had to, like, he didn't have to sell sex.
No.
Out, like, he didn't have to, because that's what you're doing when you gotta, there's nothing wrong with taking the shirt off or whatever if you look the part and all of that, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know, the the masterful skill set of just being able to just be there and use that mic, and it's an art form to it. And yeah,
Finesse the crowd, because I honestly believe, like, not to do the whole back then the music, but I honestly believe like we didn't sell as much sex as back then as we do now, because it was kind of taboo, right, to just be that overtly sexual
yeah,
out with it.
but that's what I'm saying. You don't have to. When you got it, you got it. You know what I mean?
True.
You have to, because after a while it feels like forced. Like, I never want the sexy in my album to feel like, or in the lyric to feel forced. Like, I might make you go back and be like, what did he just say? What that you know what I'm saying? Like that? How you gonna say that like that? Like you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to hit like that, but it's a way to say things, you know what I'm saying? It's a way to deliver it. And
and somebody just wrote this, which I thought, I don't know if I'm saying this, Carbon Diane or whatever. She said, imagine Luther taking his shirt off. It just wouldn't be right. It just would be like, Luther, what is you doing?
When they had to do that. Like, some people you don't have to do it,
Right. It just wouldn't be right. All right. Now I'm going to do a bonus question, and I promise you this is on the cards, so people don't think I'm trying to hit on anybody. It says, what is your opinion on open relationships?
I think that's dope. I think that I'm in a place in my life I could do that. And I understand that means that she's allowed to do whatever she feels. I feel like we're genuinely attracted to other people, and that's just like, we don't belong to each other. Like, that's a whole nother conversation. We'll be tomorrow on that. But me as somebody, if I was dating somebody, is that something I'd be open to? Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so then that goes for the next question that they have on there. Have you ever been caught in a love triangle?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I song about it. Called All I Know.
All You Know.
All I Know. It's called All I Know. Go listen to it when we're done.
Okay, I will do that. But I thought you were saying
homework.
That's all you know is love triangles.
That's your Love King homework assignment for tonight.
You got it, and I will gladly take the assignment and ace it.
I cut you off though. You said, what did you say after that? You said something.
Oh, when you said that's all you know, I thought you were saying that's all you know is love triangles.
No.
Like, nah.
That's all right. Love triangle is. Are you familiar with the term twin flames? You know the twin flames?
Yes.
Okay, so that involves that. Typically, when those happen, or you come across that twin flame, typically, in most cases, is when either you or that person is in a relationship, on the tail end of the relationship, or in a relationship that they don't belong in. You know what I'm saying? And has no bearing against like that person or you. It's just that spiritually, like, y'all not aligned to be. It's not written in the stars in the universe for y'all to be together.
Yeah, and sometimes it's people you meet, you get along. That don't mean y'all need to be in a relationship.
Exactly, yeah. But they might be there to feed your soul in a whole nother way.
Right. And just like you said earlier, just appreciate the lesson in it and keep it moving.
We just move too fast. It feels so good and we move too fast.
I agree. Well, before you go, I am taking one question. Well, I can't take that question. So I was going to take questions from the fans, but somebody just wrote lies. I don't know what that means, but I I do want to mention to everyone again, if you haven't, go listen to What a Time to Be in Love, because even though it is crazy times, it may be a really nice time to be in love. You could take the time out to get to know people versus moving too fast, like you just said, and
Yeah,
use this album to do it.
Yeah. I mean, is the greatest lesson in knowing somebody, and more importantly, knowing yourself, is time.
Mm.
So cherish it, enjoy it. You know what I mean, and let this album, What a Time to Be in Love, be the soundtrack to your time, to your moment. You know what I mean, whether it's with time for yourself, time trying to figure out what you want, time you spend with the person that you already found for the rest of your life, time to date, time to court, time to protest, time to start a movement, time to to study for that exam. This will get you through all of that.
Absolutely. So before we go, what are you gonna do in this time? How are you gonna let this soundtrack be
I'm
the
Sweetheart, I'm on to the next thing already. I'm headed to the studio as soon as this is done, and
I
it's more
like it.
away. This is Decade of the Love King. If I
All
take
right.
too much time, you know, I'm not here to drink the Kool-Aid. It's out. It's out now. So now it's for the people to absorb it and pass it on. And like once I give it to the world, on a serious note, it doesn't belong to me. You know what I'm saying, anymore. Like that's the thing about what we do. It's the most unselfish act that we commit as artists. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Either bare our soul on this track, or it's pretty deep to know that I make music that people go and create their most intimate moments to. Making kids, falling in love, falling out of love, all that. I remember Jill Scott told me one time. She said, this was the first time I met her, and I when I met her, I didn't assume that she knew who I was, and I said, "Hi, I'm Raheem DeVaughn," and she said, "I know who you are." She said, "I fell in and out of love to your first album, to the Love Experience album. I know exactly who you are."
Wow.
Now that's going down, you know what I mean? So,
Wow.
so yeah, you know, here's
Absolutely.
What a Time to Be in Love.
A time to be in love.
Right now, pick it up, Spotify. Shout out to both of my ladies, Siri and Alexa. They do know how to find me. Um, so just holla at them. Say, Siri, play that Raheem DeVaughn, What a Time to Be in Love. Alexa, play that Raheem DeVaughn, What a Time to Be in Love. They both
I thought you was gonna activate my Siri.
know
She
them very well. Siri.
Well, it's great catching up with you, Raheem. I love, just talking to R&B artists and like kind of getting in their mind. And you always remain so chill and so on this higher level of deep. I can't even explain it, but keep doing what you do, because it is definitely needed, in my opinion.
I explained it to you already. It's euphoric.
It's euphoric. Okay.
R&B. That's
It's euphoric. It's euphoric. Well, it concludes my Music Monday, y'all. Raheem DeVaughn.
Go put that thing on and go levitate, baby.
I will.
Show you right.
All right, I'll talk to you.
Peace.
Bye.